Hello everyone, welcome back to Bridge is for Everyone. My name's Jad. This is topic 4 in the extensions series. The topic is what has historically been called Italian Q-bids. But the term Q-bid has two different meanings in bridge. I prefer to use the more modern term control bid. So it is much clearer to refer to this topic as Italian control bids. This video is a necessary prerequisite for my upcoming series 2/1. Let's start by looking at an example of the problem that control bids are trying to solve. This is board E4A. Partner is the dealer. Here is your hand. As always, you value your hand. You have 17 high card points and 0 long points for a total of 17 points. Your only short suit is a doubleton diamond, so your hand is balanced, and you have 2 biddable suits, spades and clubs. Partner opens the bidding with 1 spade, and East passes. It's your turn to bid. You interpret partner's bid. Partner has 13 or more points and 5 or more spades. This means that you have a fit in spades, so you start by revaluing your hand. You replace your 0 long points with 1 dummy point for a new total of 18 points. Your partnership has 31 or more points and 9 or more spades. You will play a spade contract at the game level or higher. Fortunately, your partnership agreement includes the use of the Jacobi 2 no trump convention. This convention is explained in topic 3 of this series. You meet all the requirements, so you bid 2 no trump. This bid tells partner to continue bidding at least to the game level in spades. This is called a game force. West passes. Partner bids 3 spades and East passes. It's your turn to bid. Once again, you interpret partner's bid. As you saw in topic 3, partner's bid is a positive response to your Jacobi 2 no trump. It shows 16 or more points. You know that the partnership has 34 or more points and 9 or more spades. This is more than enough for a small slam. But you need to check for missing aces before bidding the slam. You have 2 aces, so you need to make sure that partner has at least 1 ace before you bid the slam. You use the Blackwood convention, which was explained in episodes 42 to 44 of the Learn to Play series. You bid 4 no trump. West passes, partner bids 5 diamonds, and East passes. It's your turn to bid. You interpret partner's bid. Partner's bid shows 1 ace for a partnership total of 3 aces. You can afford to lose a trick to the missing ace, so you bid 6 spades. West passes, partner passes, and East passes to end the auction. The contract is 6 spades by North. East leads the ace of hearts. Your hand is placed on the table as dummy. Partner tells you to play the 6 of hearts. West plays the 9 of hearts and partner plays the 3 of hearts. That's 1 trick to your opponents. You're not worried. This is the trick you expected to lose. East leads the 2 of hearts. Partner calls for the 8 from dummy. West plays the king of hearts and partner plays the four of hearts. West has won the trick. That's 2 tricks for your opponents. Your contract has been defeated. You wonder if this loss could have been avoided with different bidding. You identify the problem. You lost because your opponents won 2 tricks in the same suit before you could do anything. So, is there a solution to this problem? Clearly there is. You could have avoided the problem by not bidding the slam with a missing ace. You could vow to only bid a small slam when you have all the aces. This will work, but it is a drastic solution and will lead to very poor results. You eliminate this potential solution. You just need a way to check that you won't lose 2 tricks in one suit when missing an ace. The solution I recommend is Italian control bids. Let's return to our example and see them in action. We rejoin at the point where you previously bid a Blackwood 4 no trump, asking for aces. This time you bid more slowly. You look at the cheapest suit to bid next, clubs. You ask yourself one question. Are you likely to win one of the first 2 tricks in this suit? Or, put another way, can you stop your opponents from winning the first 2 tricks in this suit? You have the ace of clubs, so you probably can. To convey this message to your partner, you bid clubs as cheaply as possible. This is an Italian control bid. You bid 4 clubs. West passes. Partner now applies the same process to the next suit, diamonds. Partner makes an Italian control bid of 4 diamonds, and East passes. It's your turn to bid. You continue the process by looking at the next suit, hearts. But this time, you do not have a way to stop your opponents from winning the first 2 tricks. You cannot make an Italian control bid of 4 hearts. So what can you do? Here is the rule you must follow with Italian control bids. Don't bid past game in the agreed trump suit. You can't bid hearts, so you look at the next suit. In this case, the next suit is the trump suit. You must bid, so you bid 4 spades. And West passes. It's partner's turn to bid. Because you skipped the heart suit, partner will realise that you cannot control that suit. Partner can't control it either and passes. And East passes to end the auction. This time the contract is 4 spades by North. You know that a slam is very likely to be defeated, so this is an excellent contract. Now let's look at some of the details of control bids. First round controls will stop the opposition from winning the first trick in a suit. There are 2 different first round controls in suit contracts. They are the ace and the void. Second round controls are likely to stop the opposition from winning the second trick in a suit. In suit contracts, they are the king and the singleton. Now, let's look at the specifics of Italian control bids. An Italian control bid shows a first round control or a second round control in the suit bid. It can be made once the trump suit is agreed and known to both partners. It is a bid in a side suit. You cannot make a control bid in the trump suit. It is a bid lower than game in the trump suit. And it is always the cheapest suit to bid in which the player has a control. Italian control bids are made up the line, one suit at a time. This means that missing a suit in the sequence has a useful meaning. It shows a missing control by the bidder. Now let's look at a similar but different example. This is board E4B. Your hand is identical to the previous board, and the bidding proceeds exactly as it did with that board. Once again, we rejoin the bidding at the same point. It's your turn to bid. The trump suit of spades is agreed, and you will use Italian control bids. As you did last time, you show your control of the cheapest suit with a bid of 4 clubs, and West passes. Last time, partner bid 4 diamonds to show a diamond control, probably the ace. But this time, partner bids 4 hearts, and East passes. It's your turn to bid. You interpret partner's bid. Partner's bid shows a heart control but no diamond control. So what do? You check your hand for the control that partner is missing. You have the king of diamonds. This is a second round control in the suit skipped by partner. So the partnership has controls in all the side suits. A slam is still possible, but you need to check for missing aces. You make a Blackwood bid of 4 no trump. By bidding beyond game in the agreed suit of spades, you are telling partner that the partnership has first or second round control in all the side suits. If partner has at least 1 ace, then slam should be a good contract. Now, let's summarise the requirements for recognising an Italian control bid. First, there must be an agreed trump suit known to both partners. Second, there must be a game force in place. This means that both partners know that the contract will be at least game. Third, the bid must be in a side suit. And finally, the bid must be below the level of the agreed game. Please note that these requirements apply in many bidding situations. They do not require you to use the Jacobi 2 no trump bid. Here are 2 more of the many possible scenarios that can benefit from Italian control bids. If you open 1 spade with a maximum hand and partner responds with 3 spades, then a slam may be possible. You should use Italian control bids to investigate. If, after 1 no trump, you transfer partner to hearts and partner makes a jump bid in your heart suit, then with a strong enough hand, you can seek a slam by using Italian control bids. In this situation, the agreed trump suit is hearts, so you will play a contract of 4 or more hearts. The next cheapest bid is 3 spades, so you would use this bid to show a first or second round control in spades. Now let's look at the gains from using Italian control bids. As you've seen from the examples, the primary gain is to avoid bad slam contracts. But there is also a second gain. In some cases, Italian control bids will help you reach a good slam contract with less than the recommended 33 points. This means that you will make more slams. Now let's consider what is lost by using this convention. Italian control bids are artificial bids, so the increased complexity of the bidding system is a potential loss for the partnership. The other loss from using Italian control bids only applies when they are used after a Jacobi to no trump bid. This loss is the inability to use the rarer conventional responses that use side suit bids. I prefer the use of Italian control bids after a Jacobi to no trump, which is why I did not explain the other conventional responses in the previous video. Italian control bids are fully compatible with everything I have covered on this channel. The use of Italian control bids is extremely valuable. In competitive club play, it can give you a distinct advantage. I highly recommend including it in your bidding system when you and partner are experienced enough to implement it reliably. You should ensure that your system card is marked as using Italian control bids. The primary reason for this is that many club players will only be familiar with what are called standard or American control bids. If you're asked about Italian control bids, then you need to make sure they realize that yours are different. If you look for Italian control bids in the bridge literature, you need to be aware of a few points. Sometimes they will just be called control bids, but this term is also used for other types of control bidding arrangements. So I always use the full name and include the word Italian. This name comes from the amazing Italian team that first popularized the convention. As I mentioned earlier, the original name for the convention was Italian Q bids, but because of confusion of any control bids with real Q bids, I much prefer the term Italian control bids. This video explained how and when to use Italian control bids when investigating the possibility of a slam. Thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please consider subscribing to this channel. Until next time, this is Jad reminding you that bridge is for everyone.